To the Spurs preview. Obviously, we're playing Spurs on Saturday. Home fixture after our first win of 2023, our first win, I believe, after the World Cup in the Premier League at least. We've it's I think a lot of people's mentality's changed. Mine's definitely changed after seeing all the new signings. I think we could at least get a draw at home to Spurs now. What do you think, Reedy?
Well, we're all a bit apprehensive before the Villa game, saying that it's all about the win. If you got the win there, then you can obviously push on to try and get a few results in the next three. And obviously, the big ones coming up are Arsenal, Man United, and Spurs. So, yeah, I think you're looking into Saturday's game, and you could easily see a draw. Obviously, Spurs aren't the greatest sides at times. Yes, they've only just beat Man City. But again, they've lost to a lot of teams lower than them this season. So they're always winnable. You stop Kane, you stop Son. And with the defence we've got now, and someone like Christensen and Sutar, I think both of them could cover over both of their positions. So there's always a chance to win. And when I'm going into the game, I honestly think we could do it.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like you say, Spurs they beat Man City, didn't they? Day one, no Kane, so they're going to be bouncing off that a little bit. They're going to come and think they can get something. I think, if you ask me, the only change we should do is drop one of either Drewsbury or Tielemans and put a defensive midfielder in so we can stop their long range shots. Because, once someone like Son or even Kane or whoever, on the edge of the box, they're more than likely going to tuck it away if they've got the chance to have a free shot. So we definitely need to swap around a little bit, but I wouldn't change how we play. Like, the best defense is a good attack. If we can just keep the way we played against Villa, keep pressing high, I think a lot of teams will come into Leicester thinking we're not going to do it this season. A lot of clubs might think we're going to be a bit passive aggressive, sit back, defend. But I think,
But that's better how we played on Saturday
yeah,
because that's why, as much as it's probably better to have a defensive midfielder in there, without one, it only makes us go attacking because there's no one in there to go backwards. If someone like Mendy or Indeedy's in there, if he's because they can't make them big, massive, long balls, they're just going to go backwards and it will go back into defence and then everyone will start moaning again. Let's go around the back. But against the bigger sides, yes, when you get coming against Kane and stuff like, you've got to.
I think there'll be a good crowd as well at the weekend. I think the fans going to be behind the lads a bit more. I think we should probably do the same 11
Yeah.
minus one player, and I like to say drop the elements or Drewsbury for a Mendy or an Ndidi. I mean, Sumari's could be back. I've heard for this weekend. I mean, personally, I don't like him. I don't think he's a good enough defensive midfielder.
I think out of the three, I think if you're playing more attacking, I think out of the three players you're thinking of, either Ndidi, Mendy, or Sumari, I think I would choose Sumari just because he's probably the more progressive instead of the more defensive.
He's more progressive, but the whole point of having a defensive midfielder for me is to have someone who stays back. If you were going to play Sumari, play him as a central midfielder role, where Drewsbury or Tielemans go, pushing box to box, which I think is what his role is, and we've not played him in that role. But for me, I would put defensive midfielder like an Ndidi who can tackle the ball strong, Mendy who can recover it, because I think they're going to. If they have any game sense, I think both clubs should play the way I think we should play the way we did against Villa. But I think we're going to need to have just a bit more of a sound defensive structure against someone like Spurs because they'll put the goals away for fun otherwise.
But obviously, we've seen on Saturday that now we've got the team that Rodgers wants, or to the level that he wanted, with all the players in the right positions and whatnot. It shows that we can perform better, and people were saying that we're putting round holes, square spaces in round holes and stuff like that, and saying that shut up. But yeah, you're putting players in the positions that they're not suiting, and it just doesn't work. But now you've got the full team in there. It works.
I say we've now got circle pegs and square holes where they fit, but it's still not quite there yet.
Yeah.
They fit in, but it's just there's still a little bit of edge, wiggle room, which I think we need to work with. The way we played, with credit to Rodgers against Villa, was a lot better. We did have a lot more attacking threat, and like I said, once we're attacking more, our defence looks better because they're not struggling out there. When you look at the Villa goals, where there was still a little bit passing it around the back, and obviously it's just there wasn't much you could do about the goals, from their point of view. Or sorry, from our point of view, the own goal was unfortunate, and then one off the crossbar. maybe the players could have been switched on a little bit more and saw that it was coming down quicker than they did. But I think it's just a tough recovery, and it's a good finish by Watkins at the end of the day. So it was a fair goal. But for me, when we're passing it around the back, I think we just look a little bit more lost. Whereas we saw the likes of Soot and Christensen, they would just lob the ball up. And
it's not even about lobbing the ball up. It's more about when we saw Christensen on our side of the pitch, where the fans were.
Yeah.
The amount of times he got the ball under pressure, he's just calm, and then he actually took a lot of players on.
I think.
Whereas Luke Thomas, you just see him turn around and go backwards to Ward or backwards to Martin.
It's not just about lobbing passing. More men where rather than just passing it back,
yeah,
we are doing, lifting the ball up and passing it from across the pitch. I said passing it from but we're taking it across the pitch a lot better than we have been. And I just think that we were a lot better because we were allowed to attack better. And a lot of credit goes to. I mean, the top three for me were not players, but the literal top three: Barnes, Nacho, and
the attackers. Yeah.
I thought they played decent. I thought Barnes played okay, but he's still missing a bit of confidence. But I think with Christensen behind him, he's going to have a lot more support coming through, a lot more, balls going up, rather than Thomas, who would maybe pass it to Barnes in a tricky situation. Christensen would take the ball and drag it forward a bit.
Yeah, and then you've got to look at it as well with the players that we brought in, and all of them starting. It gives us so much more wiggle room on the bench, on the bench to give us more wiggle room on the bench to have a lot more quality players to come on. So like Vardy and Daka both on the bench to come in as go away. Sorry about this guy. Someone next to us is just trying to make us laugh. But yeah, you've got so many more quality players to come on in the later stage in the game that was starting the game.
It did feel like there's a lot more depth. I mean, the subs that came on did feel a lot more open because you had Vardy, you had Pratt come on, you had Soinchu that came on.
Yeah.
There was a lot more depth that did come on just because we've got 3 new players that have started. So for me, that allows 3 more spaces of depth players. Because for me, Vardy's the last 30 minutes kind of player. Pratt's, Pratt came on, he did what he took his goal when he was playing more in Madison type role, and I thought he played well.
Yeah, Ross is saying 3 games, Spurs, United, and Arsenal. If we play like we did over there, we can get wins out of all of these. I don't know, because I don't think we played amazing, but it was it's going into a place we want to be at.
We did play well, but I thought Villa played pretty poor for saying that they've been on good form. They've not.
But then again, as much as we want to be positive on our side, a lot of our goals was down to their defending.
Yeah, there was a couple of
mistakes. That was why we could. That's why we did score a lot of goals.
I mean, the first goal we scored, obviously, keeper passed it to that in the box. Completely wrong decision. We had Pratt, obviously, their defender had a blunder, completely missed the ball. But the other goals, we took well. Nacho took his goal well. I think it was a great pass by Barnes. Good build up play from Christensen to win the ball and pass it to Barnes and see the space. And I thought overall we just played a lot better with this the kind of how we tried to play all season without those key area players, like you say, with a strong left back. I'm not going to say Tete's made it, obviously.
We've reinforced areas that we know we needed to reinforce.
We look better because these players are
the position we wanted to be at. Yeah,
we want to play them in. So regardless of how good they could have been, they've come in. They would obviously boost the team because we needed those players anyway.
Yeah, Ross also says Nacho is man of the match for me, 2 assists and a goal as well. The best player close to Tete and Christian. How did he get put into the Villa team anyway? Obviously, he was never getting in the lineup before. And obviously, after the FA Cup match, I think Rodgers has finally realised himself that he's the only one scoring for us.
People around him. Maybe he didn't want to play Nacho up front.
But now he's got better players around him. He knows that someone's coming in.
Maybe it's not just Nacho. Maybe if Daka or Vardy was in the situation now where we've got a pretty good left wing. I know he's not been in the best position, but he's still a pretty good winger in Barnes. And Tete, who looks a lot more skillful. I mean, he was doing skills in his first game. And
he scored.
He scored. So, I think there's a lot more depth. There's just a lot more areas, not only that we can attack, there's a lot more areas where the clubs like Villa, they've got to watch. Because, when we didn't have the depth and we were playing Maddison, they'd have 3 or 4 players around Maddison because he's the only one that's doing anything to Leicester. Ignore the strikers, ignore Barnes. They're not really doing much. Maddison's on to watch, but now Maddison has the space to pass it to left, right, forward, rather than, being limited to the space.
And then finally, Ross says that just to keep an eye to obviously replace. But again, at the moment, we're not going to be able to do that. And then going forwards, maybe so. We maybe do let Iverson go back on loan because we thought he'd maybe be the number one before Ward got put in there.
I think after this season, and I said it before, before we said Ward was number one, that Danny Ward shouldn't be the number one goalie at Leicester. He's not got any experience. I would have preferred someone like Dubravka from Newcastle to come in, and he would have been a better replacement striker than Ward is. I'm not saying Ward's been bad. He made some good saves against Villa, but I think our Achilles heel is we still let in too many goals. We scored. We were 3-2 up at one point against Villa, and it felt they did have a goal decided. It's like, well, usually when you score 3 goals away,
you're not going to win
that's
that.
3 points secured for Leicester. But Villa did look like they could come back into the game, and obviously we've got Spurs, United, and Arsenal coming up, and they'll take their chances a lot better. Especially considering all 3 teams are not. When we played them maybe 18 months ago, they were a little bit maybe on the average side, and we were doing better. But now it's kind of flipping around the average, and they're doing very well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a lot tougher for all 3 games. If you ask me, out of the 3 games, I'd like to see maybe 3 points. I'd say. I think that's.
I'd say. Either you get 3 draws, which is good enough because you're playing all 3 of them. You draw into them. You take 3 points and get two losses and a win. But I think going less than 3. Yes, I guess maybe 2 draws isn't bad. If you say you only take 2 points from 3 games, it just look a bit different.
The other team's point of view, yeah, we've just beat Villa, but these teams coming against they are
a lot better quality.
They're going to be the next standard of good. Like Villa,
Villa were one test, but these are the next level tests.
Yeah, these guys are going to be a lot. They're going to come and hit us from the get go. Spurs, like I said, we've got the home advantage, and we do need to make advantage of that. But we all know we might as well go into the game 1-0 down because Kane's going to score anyway.
You never know. Suter could have him on toast. And then last comment before we do end, not just the talent, Tete has so much more balance in the team. He does. Without a winger, you feel like you've just got 2 up front.
Someone has to mark Tete now. Yeah. That's the thing. Someone has to be on his.
And that's one less player on the striker or one less player on the other winger.
It just does open it up a lot more. Whereas we're playing with one extra midfielder that wasn't doing anything, we now have that space on the width, and I think that's what we needed. I'm glad we did bring him in. Hopefully, I think his options. But hopefully, he looks like he's really happy. You've seen his post saying he wants to be here for a couple of years, and that he's happy at Leicester. He's not even been here a week or whatever now.
Well, you can see in all the new players, like when they're celebrating, you could just see there was passion there, and that's what we've missed from a lot of the players at the moment. But going into the last thing of the show, scoreline.
Again, it's one of those things. I think it's a very tough match, but I think we can get some power. We just need to play our own game and not falter to their strengths. Obviously, going to come and attack and push it through Kane and Son a lot more. So I think we just need to stick it out and play our own game, keep going forward, and like I said, best defence is a good attack. So yeah. I'm going to say 2-1 win to Leicester, last minute winner. And I'm hoping it's the same starting 11 with one exception, maybe being a defensive.
I think would you, even if you stayed this full 11, the same 11 played against Villa, would you still be happy, even if you didn't change to a DM? So I feel like in your attacking wise, you'd be a bit more.
I think it's fine. I think that'd be fine if we did play the same 11. I'm more than happy with that. I think that is the best team that we played against.
If you go 1 or 2-0 up, then you could maybe bring him on and just sit there and not sit there, but be a bit more defensive.
It depends if me, if we were 1 or 2-0 up and we were playing us, I wouldn't bring in defender on them or defensive.
Yeah, because you'd want to go and get another goal.
We've seen it before, but we have to lead against teams like Southampton. We bring on defensive midfielder, another defender.
Well, you're beating Spurs 2-1 and you lose 3-2 in the last 2 seconds.
To me, I think Rodgers learned that. Like I said, his subs against Villa were a lot better because they weren't.
You weren't just going balls deep to defend the game.
They were more like subs rather than we're winning 3-2. Let's hold on to it. It was like, let's put Pratt on and change Madison because Madison's first game in ages. He's been injured. Give him 60-70 minutes. Change him on for Pratt, and he comes on and scores.
David also says that Romero banned for them. He's a defender, for them. He won for Argentina in the World Cup, so massive for them. Yeah, a massive loss for them. But yeah, I'm going to go. I've said it on Full Show yesterday. I'm going to go for it again. I'm going to say 3-1 to Leicester. We obviously know who's going to score their goal, most likely anyway. You never know, Son could get one. But that is it, guys. Appreciate you coming on. And we'll catch you all on the next one. Cheers.